Mm, Yo, yo. How is everyone? We are back for the fourth night in a row.
Soros Media
Let's wait.
going hard, eh?
That's it. That's it, bro. I think they're sick of us already.
Honestly, but this is gonna happen, and this is gonna be going on every night. So just
Every
imagine.
night. That's it. It's like the ex that doesn't stop coming back. Like we're like the toxic ex that never stops coming back.
I'm gonna lie,
So let's just wait.
that's
Yeah.
like the funniest thing you've said, bro. Honestly.
Oh, thanks, bro. You could have
Oh,
fake laughed. It was that shit. You could have
I
fake laughed at
I
least. You
tried,
know
I
what I
tried.
mean? Alright, let's wait for some people to join and let's hit them with the topic that we're doing tonight.
You know what's so weird?
Right,
You know how we share. We're meant to be the what do you call it? Like the brains behind this stuff, right?
right.
So every time we've had a live and I've shared it to my Facebook,
Yeah.
it it's it says only me. So only I can see
Oh,
it.
I knew you could see it.
And it was even
So,
probably until today I realized that. I was like, oh
oh
no.
man, thanks for ruining our reach, bro. Honestly, like it didn't mean much to me that maybe an extra 200-300 people could have seen our stream.
Straight out bad one, honestly.
Hello,
Yo.
yo. Oh shit, my shit's cutting out. Give me a sec.
No way.
Bad timing. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, cool. Alright, well,
Perfect.
we're cutting out, but you can hear me, so I'll just continue on. Welcome back to episode. Numbers are overrated, so I don't know what episode we're on. But today we're going to be talking about personal branding and the importance of personal branding. Also, notice that we got a new camera for me and a new mic coming for Mark, so we're making those upgrades that you
Hey,
guys wanted.
a new camera and mic for me.
That's it, that's
So get
it.
ready,
Like,
yeah.
we just gotta make all those upgrades that people have been asking, because like after every single stream, like people message me saying, oh, like why don't you do this, why don't you do that? So like we really appreciate the feedback, and we're basically gonna jump on that as soon as we can. So thank you so much for all that feedback. So
After after all the upgrades we're gonna be out of money, bro.
that's it, we're done. We're gonna be doing hit where it hurts on the streets, bro. I'm telling you.
Straight out.
All right,
Yes.
so
Today we're talking
personal
about
branding.
God.
Oh well, go on.
Yeah, yeah, so today we're talking about personal branding and how that's like an important part of starting a business and why you should focus on it. And I'll hand it to Mark to continue on.
Yeah, so personal branding is this idea of putting a name or a face behind the product that you sell. Like a good example would be like Kylie Jenner's makeup, right? I think it's Kylie. I hope it's Kylie. Anyway, Kylie Jenner's makeup, like everyone buys her makeup because it's her, right? Everyone trusts her. Everyone likes what she stands for, whatever. And then you have like Jeffree Star, for example, like yeah,
I hate that
that
guy.
person that stop that person's makeup, like everyone buys their makeup because of their branding and stuff. I don't want to say he or she because I don't want to misgender them, but yeah, that person. But yeah, so basically personal branding is when you build an identity behind your product so that your product isn't just another stale product in the market, right? Like me and you, we could be selling chairs, but my chair, 5% of it goes to charity. Whereas in your chair has higher quality, but people don't care because people don't know you that well.
Exactly, exactly. And like just having that person, because every brand, right, has a
Yeah,
different personality to it.
right.
So if I'm running a brand and Mark's running a brand and we're both running, like we're both in the same niche, some people might trust him than me. And so having that, how do you say it? Having that face behind that brand just
Right.
changes everything.
That's right. And like it's not like we're not talking physical face, but we're
Yeah, of
talking like
course.
actions, deeds, personality, attributes, qualities, like
Mhm.
these things. Like when you feel like someone's nice or someone's being a good person or whatever, it's like you want to buy from them to support them because you want to uplift those qualities in the market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people say that our examples are too outlandish, so let's make it practical for us, right? For us right now, through this podcast, we're building our personal branding because you're getting to know us, not just the fact that we provide social media services, right?
Yeah.
So, in the most practical sense, me and Mark, we sometimes struggle with short form content because it doesn't really represent us. It kind of represents the kind of imitated version of us, right? The ones that want to make people laugh or the ones that want to make people click. Whereas on the podcast, this is straight up us, right? Like this is like
Mm.
if me and Mark were having a conversation without the cameras on.
Exactly. And like, look at Elon Musk for example, right?
Yeah,
Like this guy is like one of the most well-known people in the world. Yeah.
that's right.
And
Yeah,
people don't go just so if he wasn't behind Tesla, I don't reckon like Tesla would be like that big. Like yeah, it's a
I,
like like it's a good cool car. It's technological. This that doesn't use petrol, right?
yeah,
But it's the person behind it, like Elon Musk. Like
that's right.
like a lot of people criticize him for like spending a lot of money shooting freaking cars into space and shit like that, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
it's more about him having that picture behind that brand pushes people to go with that brand. That's how it
That's
is.
right, and like
Yeah.
everyone knows Elon Musk. Like, bro,
Mm.
the way memes and
Yeah.
CEOs have been built up recently, like the
Mm.
way CEOs present themselves on Twitter, present themselves through social media, has actually been very impactful on their competitiveness with their competitors, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, like, for Elon Musk, right? Like, you remember when he was displaying the Tesla,
yeah.
right? The Cybertruck, and he's like, it's bulletproof, right? And some guy got a hammer and smashed the window, and
Oh,
it went straight through.
yeah, I saw that.
Right, like obviously that puts like a worry on his branding, right? Like he's claiming it's bulletproof and doesn't end up being bulletproof. But we get more insight on to how like he probably did that on
But that
purpose
was,
for
that
all
was
we know.
like a marketing stunt.
That's right, yeah. That's the
Yeah,
way I thought of it too. I'm
yeah,
like, he's making us feel like we're in the process planning of the Cybertruck because he's showing the good and the bad of it, right?
yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing that people want. No longer are we fascinated by good products, good quality. Like that should be a given in your product.
Mm.
But we also want the people behind it. We want to know where our money's going, right? That's why there's so many canceling movements. Like think about like man, I'm using makeup too much. I have too many sisters. But think about makeup, right? When they found out there was animal cruelty and animal testing on makeup, people stopped buying from those brands, right?
Exactly.
So like the whole reason of cancel culture and things behind that is because products don't matter. It's the people behind them. Because when you're online shopping, that money goes to someone's dream. And if their dream does not align with your goals, then you won't buy from them. But if they do, you will,
And
right?
that's like saying that there's always a market in a niche.
Yeah,
So if
100%.
everyone's watching, go check that out in our Instagram. I made a post on that. And
Yeah,
we'll be like, we have to talk about. That's a big topic. That's a whole new topic
it
that we,
is.
and
It
we'll
is.
talk about it in the next video as well. And I'm like, you just gotta jump in as soon as you see an opportunity. I'm like that, right? When people
Mm,
when people stopped buying makeup because they heard about the animal cruelty, companies came out. They put a stand. They said, now we're supporting this, and that's
yeah,
personal branding. When
that's right.
people saw that, when consumers saw that, they went with them, and that's how it builds
That's
up.
That's right, because
Mm.
people care. Like people are
Yeah.
at this point where they're comfortable in their life. They
Mm.
can choose between your product and another person's product,
Mm.
sacrifice the quality, even if yours is better, because they know their money is going to somewhere that's not good, right?
Yeah.
Let me give you an example, right? How important personal branding is right now. Like, so you know Supercar Blondie, right? Surely
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
her,
yeah,
yeah.
of course,
Yeah,
of
so
course.
Supercar Blondie, right? Like famous Facebook, pretty much started on YouTube, but she has like pages on Facebook. And you know, the reason we speak about supercar bonding is because of personal brand. Just so I can put that out there. Like, it's not because of the nice cars she got, because she was reviewing shitty cars. It was because of the way she built her story up. You know, a little girl from Australia just wanted to review cars, went to Sydney, started looking at cars there, and then went to LA or whatever, right? Like, the list goes on. And anyway, I was watching a video of hers like recently, right? Because she was looking at a McLaren or whatever.
Yeah,
And I was looking at like her occupations because like she had open vacancies for working in the Supercar Blondie family.
yeah,
And I was looking and there was a role for head video editor, right? And you know how usually the most important requirement is at the top. The
yeah.
most important requirement at the top for her was storytelling, brand stories,
Mm.
and personal branding. So if you think about it, like Supercar Blondie is a millionaire now, right? She wasn't like that all the time. Like I've watched her since the start. So if a lead video editor's main thing is personal branding, then it must have some importance, right?
Mm.
And so, we're not just spouting shit. Like it's being, it's right now. That's where
Exactly.
life is right now.
Everyone talks about it, literally, bro. Like,
Mm.
who? All right, Gary Vee, for example, right? We talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Gary Vee a lot. We love that guy, but
right.
he he mentions it every single time. And you know
That's
what he
right.
says, right? He
Mm.
says it says people tell me I mention this shit all the time, but if
Yeah,
I can mention it so many times in different ways, then I'll keep doing it. And people still listen to him even if he's talking about the same shit, because
that's
that
right.
is the power of personal branding, right? Yeah, go on.
Yeah. And like, bro, like he always says, bro, post content every day, post content every day. Bro, I watch his podcast every day and he still tells me the same thing he's been telling me 2 years ago. And you're like, why are you
Yeah.
still watching it? It's because I'm not posting every day, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but the reason you post every day is because the more people get to know you, because these aren't people you're meeting on the street, these are people buying from you. So you're developing this consumer relationship. And if you think about relationships, there's benefits and disadvantages, right? In
Mm,
everything. Normal relationship. Let's take out business for a second, right?
yeah.
In a relationship, there's advantages and disadvantages. In a consumer relationship, the disadvantage is that we get your money, right? The advantage is that you get the value out of our service. But if you get the value out of our service and you're helping us towards our dream, which aligns with your like priorities or like your morals, your values, that type of thing, right? Then we know that we have the better relationship with you than you have with someone you don't know, right?
100%.
Which is why personal branding is thriving over quality right now, in my opinion, at least. Like just from the way I've seen it, even with soft drinks, like fast food restaurants. Like, bro, have you seen Wendy's in America? How they're like literally clout farming over all the other fast food restaurants
What
on
happened?
Twitter?
Nah.
Oh, they're like
Oh,
commenting on. Yeah, they're
oh,
com-
is that the one where some guy got there was a fight and they're like telling
yeah,
everyone, oh yeah, I see that. Tell me, bro,
yeah,
tell me.
yeah. Like they comment under like other fast food restaurants saying like you
Yeah.
y'all ain't got shit on us, blah blah blah. Like Al and Ratio, like they're playing that personal branding role, right? Because they're putting like an attitude to the food that you're eating, right?
Yeah.
And people might not know it. People might not say, bro, people in this podcast probably right now are just like, bro, what is he talking about, bro? If it's good quality, I'm gonna buy it. If it's not, I'm not going to. But think of Macca's.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald was what really started it for them, right?
Mm.
Like having the kids' birthday parties is what they thrived off, right? And like there's heaps of other stories, right? Like Allianz Insurance, right? Everyone thinks of the girl behind Allianz Insurance because she never shuts up, and we can hear it in our head every single time, right? RACV, like all
Yeah.
these things. This is personal branding, bro. This isn't done on accident. The reason we can talk about it right now, and I know everyone watching is gonna know my examples, is because they've branded themselves in such a way that we know them like they're our close mate, not like they're the supplier and we're the demand, right?
Yeah.
We've become friends with them,
It's like you know Nog Boys, right? I'm sure
right?
everyone who's listening knows the Nog Boys, bro. They're
Hundred
legends.
percent.
And
Yeah.
when they released their new seltzer, right?
Mm.
Bro, that shit went through the roof, guys. And,
Right. Right.
and they're now like the number one or number two biggest seltzers in the freaking in America or the world, right?
That's right.
And
That's right.
how
Yeah.
did that happen?
Mm.
It's the people behind the brand, the branding, the personal development and shit. That's what
Mm.
pushed it, and that's how they got on the top.
Yeah, like, and
Yeah.
bro, you just bring up like an amazing example because YouTube explains it. How are people who make funny videos turning into brands, right? Like,
Yeah,
think about all the YouTubers selling merch. They're making more money off their merch than what they did off their YouTube views, right? And it's like,
100%.
why are you buying their merchandise? Like, there's Adidas, there's Nike, there's a million different things, but it's about what it represents,
Yeah,
right? Like, for example, your cousin's shop, right? Like, she represents like God and like like Christ or whatever, right? Like, people are gonna buy that because of the branding behind it. You know what I mean? They're not gonna buy it because the fabric of the jumper. They're gonna buy it because of what it looks like, what it represents. When
but
everything, like in the way that NFTs are taking over the digital world, personal branding started that train of this is what I represent. Like when people wear Crusher, right, or whatever it's called. You know that skateboard brand is a Crusher.
no,
I
I don't
probably
even
said it wrong.
know.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
a
it's
skateboard brand.
Thrasher.
Thrasher. See,
Yeah,
I
where'd you
think
get
I
Crusher
think
from?
I'm thinking of crushes from KFC, bro. I
Kit
must be
Kat.
hungry or thirsty.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, like what was it? Thrasher, right? Thrasher,
Pressure,
yeah.
yeah.
Like people know that you're in that scene if you wear that, right? People know
Yeah.
that if you're wearing
If,
Culture Kings, you know, you're in the
yeah,
rap
it's
scene and shit, right?
it's like if you're wearing like Nog Boys merch, you full send that you're a party animal, you're a sick cat.
That's it.
It's
That's
like
it.
all
That's
that, bro.
exactly it.
Like you're
Yeah.
smoking with the boys, you know, full sending. It's like that, bro. You know.
So
But,
the reason we're talking about this and the importance of this, and you know, this you may feel like this won't apply to you because I don't know, maybe you're just selling, like I said, a chair, bro. Like you're selling a chair. You're like, bro, how am I gonna add a brand to a chair, right? Think about it this way: the market, every market is saturated, right? It's very rarely you're gonna find a market that's not saturated with millions of other brands, right? And if you can't stand out because financially you can't buy better quality products, if you can't stand out because you can't keep up with the content because they have a content team to do it, then you stand out because of the things you represent, the 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 ability to go above and beyond your requirements as a consumer, and to make your consumer fall in love with you but not your product. And let me tell you what happens then. Anything you release, they're going to support because they know that support directly going to you.
exactly. It, it
So
yeah. If you're behind that, then and the people love you, you're gonna. We're talking about personal branding, right? So
right,
what comes with personal branding is storytelling as well. Like
yeah,
that's a big topic as well. We'll get into that all like next few episodes. But let me just say this: you have to tell your audience the behind the scenes. You have to tell them about you. You have to take them through your life for them to understand who you are, because they need
that's right,
to find value in you to find in order to find value in what you're providing, right?
that's
So
right,
that's
yeah.
why like you have to be the face of your brand. You get me?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and like again, like I want to make this very clear. When we speak face, we're speaking about the things that you represent. Of course,
Yeah.
there are some faces, like actual face, like Jeffree Star, right? Like his face is behind his brands, right? Kylie Jenner, like all that, right? Um, but what's it called? In terms of
So
personal
it's
branding,
about like the
yeah.
value you're providing.
That's right. It's about the
Yeah.
value you're providing. And let me tell you like the three key things with personal branding, right? Which I
Yeah.
feel is where it thrives, is that you become relatable. That's
Yeah.
like the first thing because
Yeah.
when people know your story, when people know why you're doing it,
Mm.
then you know it helps.
Yeah.
When you're giving secrets away about your business or you're giving access to things that they wouldn't see,
Yeah.
then you know like it's what it does is it adds value to them beyond a consumer. They don't feel like they're just buying from you
Hundred
and
percent.
we get their money. They're getting more value out of the relationship, right? And
Exactly.
you know, in terms of storytelling, like
Mm.
how many times have we spoken about someone and before speaking about their product, we speak about how they came up? Gary Vee, the wine shop, right?
Yeah.
Kobe, the streets,
Yeah.
right? Like the list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? So for me, I think the most important thing with your like when you guys start your own small businesses, if that's why you're here to like kind of understand or try to like take that step, is have your story planned out. Understand how you're going to project what you're doing and why you're doing it. Right? If there's
Yeah.
no why behind why you're providing a service, then why the fuck should I buy from you, right? Like
Exactly.
if you don't believe in your own product, why would I believe in it? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like Elon Musk, bro, he believed in his product so much he chucked the hammer
100%.
through Twitter and it went through.
Bro, these guys sent his Tesla to space, bro. Like, that's
Yeah,
millions of dollars into a product that he knows he's gonna make money out of. You know, that's a
that's
lot
right.
of money for marketing, bro. That's a lot of like no one's done that, bro. Who's sent their product to space just for
Yeah, yeah.
marketing, right?
That's right. That's right.
Uh,
And like, you know, Elon Musk is one of those people that pushes, you know, the limits.
yeah,
But in terms of like personal branding and how that goes into conversion, well, if you think about it, people are gonna understand why you did what you did, why you made the product that you made, and what value it provides to your life. And alongside with storytelling, like when you talk about your product and you say you're using it and it changed your life in a certain way, then people will buy it to see it in the same way. That's why we see like I'm just gonna give my favorite example: The Weekend with Mercedes-Benz, right?
Yeah.
Like when he's like listening to Blinding Lights, driving down the freeway, listening to like driving a Merc.
Mm.
We get that feeling that when we're driving in a Merc, we're gonna be like The Weekend, right? Like obviously in a less
That's
practical
here
sense.
probably.
That's me, yeah. Like
Uh,
if I like I'm gonna buy a Merc after I saw that out. But yeah, so like it's the ability to add more value. It's than what's face on, right?
mhm.
Because physically all it is a product at the end of the day, or a service.
Yeah.
And if we want to use us as an example, I think the story that we're trying to put out is that we care about small business owners and what they provide to, like, the bigger picture of Australia,
Yeah.
right? And for us, it's always been our dream to help small business owners. So when we
Yeah,
clap
Mike.
for
Sorry.
Twitter,
Yeah, oh, no, sorry
right?
guys.
Whee!
My camera is really bad,
Yeah,
and we're
like
working it. Yeah.
when small business owners come to us and we do like our free 15-minute phone call before we get into, like, the
Mm.
expensive stuff. We speak about what their dreams were, what their passion was, what their
Yeah.
upbringing was, because we want to develop a relationship that's deeper
Yeah.
than like deeper
Mm.
than what we know now, right? We
Yeah.
want to develop a relationship that shows that we care. Let me give you an example. Like, when people put the numbers on their shirts and they say, like, text me at this number, right? That's because they're
Oh
trying
yeah.
to build
Like Gary
closer
V.
relationship. Yeah, like Gary V, right? Like,
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
texted Gary V, but fuck, if I was in America, I'd text him right now, all right? Like, he actually would probably reply to those people, not only to build personal branding, but he'll get an understanding of how his consumers are, so that when he comes out with product and content, he
Mm.
can customize it to the people that he knows, because he's
Oh,
become so close with them.
and he's done it before, bro. Because there was a guy, right?
Right.
That was at one of his talks, and he
Mm.
like put his hand up to talk, and then he's like to him, "You know that number on your shirt,
Yeah.
to Gary Vee?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." It's like that number changed my life because I literally messaged you, you texted back, we started talking, and now he was like a millionaire. He started like this
Yeah.
thing, and
Like,
it like exploded. Yeah,
yeah, and you can't fake it, right? Like,
nah,
we're not telling you to go out. Like, if you're a piece of shit and you just want money, then it's
yeah,
gonna show through your content, regardless of what personal branding you got, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't care. Like we've seen that, right? We've seen that because
100%.
we know products and businesses
Yeah,
have changed or switched up when it comes to a certain circumstance with their employees.
yeah,
Coronavirus.
mm.
So that reveals their true colors, right? Like, this whole time, they've been, saying, "Oh yeah, well, like, we care for our employees, we pay above minimum wage, blah blah blah."
yeah.
But then coronavirus comes and they all want them to get the vaccine, right? They don't give a fuck. They literally don't give a fuck. They're
Who's
doing
this?
what?
Like the companies and stuff.
If you want me to drop names, like like SPC,
SPC. We've spoken
Qantas, like,
about it so much. Yeah,
yeah, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. You have to have a
mm.
genuine reason of why you're doing what you're doing, or else people won't buy from you, right?
100%.
Um, and like in a practical example for us,
Mm.
you can go to our services and get our services, or you can go on Fiverr and pay some random guy to do it, right? But who do you know more about, right? The guy on Fiverr, he gives like a little description of what he does, right? He has a cheap price, and he maybe gets the job done, right? But you come to us and you have so much things to look through, right? Our story, our podcast, our content, like our like
We're providing so much value.
yeah, that's right.
Like I'm
And
not trying to plug it, but yeah,
yeah, it's not about the value, but it's about, like, the insight, right? Like, you
yeah,
guys get an insight into how the process works, right? Like, we go through that 15-minute phone call, then we plan out your business, then we go and start to promote our social media services to you. Like, you've kind of been put in the middle, like, you guys are running the business with us, right?
no.
So that's the difference between us and a random Fiverr guy who would probably charge you less, right?
Mm.
And that's
And
why,
you just form that relationship at the end of the day. It's all
yeah,
about
that's right.
it's in business. It's all about connections, and when you build connections, you're set pretty much, right?
Yeah, and, like, think of the podcast as an example, right?
Mm.
Like, how many people have messaged us saying, "Hey, like, like, really appreciate the podcast, you speaking out about this," or, "Hey, really appreciate this, maybe you can improve on that." Like, we're
Yeah,
building our relationships with these are all potential customers at the end of the day, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's gonna buy it from our services. Come on now. Uh, but like these are all of our potential customers, right?
Yeah.
And we live out our message of wanting to help small business owners because we provide a lot of free service, right?
Mhm.
Businesses message us all the time saying, "Hey, I'm going through this, that. What's the advice you can give us?" And we give them advice, and then we provide our services afterwards. It's because we're executing on our goal. You know that if your money comes to us, it's going to go towards something better. And I'm using ourselves as an example because that's the most practical, right? Because we're living it.
Mm.
If I use someone else as an example, then there could be missing things, but that's us. That's who we are, right? So that's why personal branding is so important, and that's why it puts us one head above our competitors who probably have better social media teams, better content planning, better finances, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have that intellectual relationship with their customers the same way we do, right? And I
That's
think that's the most important thing.
about one of our clients, right?
Right.
We did all her LinkedIn stuff, we ran her
That's right.
page and stuff, and then because we built that relationship with that person, we said, you know what, we're gonna continue to run your LinkedIn. We're gonna continue to post content for you with no charge at all. And that's
That's right.
when her like what do you call it? When her
Yeah.
thing was expired, and we continue to do that for her.
Yeah, like
And
that's an
that's
example of
yeah.
personal branding, right? Because we had a client who has gone through our 3 month contract, finished the contract. We knew she was going to start another one because she told us she was just waiting. So we said, look, we're going to post regularly on your LinkedIn to kind of contain that level of notoriety that we got. And then we're going to keep posting for free until you go into your next contract, right?
Mm,
And like it's little things like that that show that we actually care for our customers, right?
exactly.
And like we can use examples of other people as well. Like if you think about it, like Macca's, they have free burger days, for example. Um,
Mm.
like JB Hi-Fi, they always price match no matter what. Doesn't matter if you go to a $2 store that's selling it
No
for
way.
$1, they'll price match no
That's
matter what. Yeah, for real.
yeah. Then I've been getting scammed. I should have done that.
See, their personal brand is not that good then if you don't know about that. But yeah, so
No, I need to
like
do
if you Mark, if you were a
it.
business owner right now, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you're starting off, let's say you're starting off today, right? And you're
Mm.
selling shirts. Like what would be the first thing that you do to, you know, represent your personal branding straight away? Would you plan it out first? Would you release content first? What would you do?
Well, first, obviously, if I'm coming out with like clothing,
Mm,
I need to figure out the logo, the designs, and then to come out with them with everything, right?
that's right.
So once
And
I
would
have
you make your logo? Would you make your logo align? Kind of try to make it align with you as a person through the colors, make it friendly, nice. Like, is that the type of things you'd be thinking about?
not really. So
Okay.
in business, but like say it right. My favorite
Yeah.
color is black. I'm not gonna go make my logo black because it's
Yeah.
just like dumb.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sorry, so whoever's logo is black. Like I'm
You
um,
ruined TikTok, bro. Yeah, continue.
you gotta go on about the psychology of things, about what
Right.
consumers want. You gotta put yourself in the consumer's shoes and
That's
be
right.
like, when I see this, am I gonna trust this? Am I gonna go with it,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
And then I'm gonna start once I have everything, right? Start building connections. Start doing giveaways, right?
mm.
Start sending like people free stuff, this, that, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and like give back to the people because that's what
Right.
they want, right?
Right.
And then tell my story because I've seen like Gymshark, right? You've seen Gymshark.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
With Gymshark, the guy like builds connections. He tells his story. He goes on all these things. He does all these things, right? All on TikTok and stuff like that. And that's
Right.
what people like to see. They like to see where you came from, how
That's
you
right. They do.
started
Yeah.
it, what you're
Mm,
doing now. You know what I mean?
mm.
And like leading back to personal branding, people buy you,
Yeah, they
not
buy
what you're
you,
giving.
not
Yeah,
your product. That's right.
yeah.
And bro, like I live it, right? Because the reason I can connect with Gary Vee so much
Mm.
is he was an immigrant at the end of the day, right? He started off
Yeah,
with nothing. Like think about all the millionaires that tell their stories, right?
exactly.
The ones who started off rich, we don't give a fuck about, right? We didn't care. They had it all, right? They had it all. But the ones who started from the fucking dirt
Yeah.
and gave all their secrets all the way up, those are the ones that thrive the most, right?
Mm.
And I think that's the most important thing because we understand them at a level that's deeper than us just being a consumer of their content,
Yeah.
right? So people's story matters. Like people, the value and the things they provide matters to the product that they're selling, right? And let's continue on with that example, right? So like
Yeah.
you start to post content. Would you make a podcast? Like, do you think podcasts are really good to build personal branding?
Bro, definitely. And you know what I'd do with the podcast?
Yeah,
I'd bring in like bodybuilders, fitness. Alright,
yeah,
if it was a fitness clothing brand, we'll
yeah,
say
yeah. Of course, yeah.
we'll niche down. It's a fitness clothing brand. I'll bring on like
Right,
fitness people, bodybuilders, everyone that's like up there, right? I'll bring them on, tell them like this, that,
right.
like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of people wanna like podcasts are blowing up.
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and I think that one will be good because if I'm bringing these people on, right? It's a people that they're in the same niche as I am. Like, yeah, they're bodybuilders, but I'm selling fitness clothing as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So with that happening, it'll just go like up, you know, like
That's right. Yeah,
to the
yeah.
moon,
And
to
like,
the moon.
yeah, that's it. And like,
Yeah.
think about it this way, right?
Mm.
Like I said, like the main point of a podcast is this is us, right? This isn't us in a meeting speaking professional so we can
It's
sound good.
it's all
This
uncensored.
Yeah, it's all uncensored. Like this isn't us going around our room making Instagram reels about how to build your personal branding. This is us explaining how we're doing it right now through this podcast and how we're recommending you to do it for your business as well, right?
Yeah.
That's why podcasts are so important. But if you don't want to do a podcast, that's fine. Do content. Make content every day and make organic content, right? Of you talking to the camera about your feelings and stuff, right? Like how many business owners started to vlog and then their business started to thrive off it, right?
Yeah.
Like doesn't that tell you a lot, right?
Just like
That
just get a cameraman, right? And
yeah,
have
just
him
get a
follow
camera.
you around like everywhere you go when
Literally.
you're doing your business stuff. And that's
Bro,
yeah.
right now go open your TikTok, right? Right now go open your TikTok.
Yeah.
You will actually find more views, and I promise you this is
Yeah.
promise. You find more views on on people shopping around doing nothing with their life, right?
Yeah.
Than the ones actually providing value through like their like social media guru, right? Like less people watch that now. Because they've seen it all, bro. They've seen it. They know exactly what you're imitating, exactly what you're trying to put across, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for us it's like you have to be organic and real and you have to show them exactly how your real life is, right? But I find it hard to vlog. What do, bro? I go to uni and then I do some business. That's about it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like there's no in between.
And
Um
you know when we
yeah.
were talking about Tesla before,
Yeah,
you wanna hear something like really messed up?
right, go.
It's like a conspiracy theory, right?
Okay, here we go.
Apparently the
Yeah.
Tesla that was shot into space
Mm.
had dead bodies inside of it.
Where are you pulling this shit from, bro? What the fuck?
Bro, Kaz, this is like, come on, like, is that like mind blowing?
I think that's our pitch to end the episode. Like, I think that's where you have gone. Like, I think that's where you hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? Like,
the tiredness has hit me, bro.
that's it. I swear. But yeah. So if there's any questions in the comments, shout out to Vanessa, Amani, and Sophie. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Really appreciate you being here. Hopefully, you got some value out of this podcast. I know it was a bit more serious and less, fun, but we feel like personal branding is really important, and like the value we can get out of this podcast afterwards and the clips we can get are going to be really important for people, and especially for like repurposing and stuff like that. So hopefully you were able to get some value out of that, and we inspired you to, increase your personal branding through your business and how that supports you. Um, yeah, so by the way, on this Sunday, what are we now? Are we on a Friday, bro? I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, today's
It's
Friday.
Friday,
All right.
Friday.
So this Sunday, at 8:30 p.m., we have DJ Nessa. If you didn't see her in the chat, she's gonna be coming on talking about how she turned her passion into a business. And the fact that we call her DJ Nessa proves that her personal branding is obviously thriving in our minds and obviously in her consumers' minds. So stay tuned for that. Also, this podcast is gonna be live every single day at 8:30 p.m. So if you missed out on this one, don't worry about that. You can come tomorrow, or you can watch the re-upload of this one. Do you have any comments to say, Mark?
Just keep watching. We're providing value free value that the fake gurus are selling you. So if I was you,
We're
I'd
not the
keep
social media gurus, but when we get our
that.
Lamborghini, we will be.
But yeah, I just
All
give
right.
honestly like yeah, thanks for the support. We've had a lot of support over, like the first week of starting this podcast. Hopefully, you guys keep supporting us. It means a lot if you guys keep liking, sharing, subscribe on our YouTube, and yeah,